eligible Marion County High School is invited to nominate one qualified member of its senior class for these awards. The nominee is to be one whose success in and out of the classroom while overcoming adversity, environmental, physical, mental, or emotional, is an inspiration to others. The application process consists of a written record of the student's accomplishments, activities, and academic performance, a personal essay by the student, one or more letters of recommendation, an interview with our Abe Lincoln committee is the final piece. We thank all of the dedicated teachers, counselors, and administrators for their help in this process. We're now ready to introduce each of our students as members of the 2019 Circle of Valor. Our club is part of Kiwanis International, a global volunteer organization dedicated to serving the children of the world. The governor of the Indiana District of Kiwanis, Judge Rauch, will now come forward with our club president, Jean Ann Kirby. She's with Indiana Members Credit Union. And as each of you is introduced, please proceed up here to the stage where Judd and Jean Ann will present you with your certificate of valor, and we'll get a picture of you. After all of our students have been introduced, we will then separately present the recipients of our 4 monetary scholarships. Okay. Rafael Sanchez, will you join me? And as he's coming up, I'll tell you a little bit about Rafael. He is a Murrow and multiple Emmy Award-winning investigative reporter and anchor who joined WRTV 6 ABC in 1998. He was honored with the Indiana Associated Press Broadcaster's Best Metro Reporter for 2016 award. Every year, Rafael enjoys participating in charitable events that raise money and awareness for organizations around Central Indiana. Beyond traditional speaking engagements, he's always up for a Latin ballroom competition that will benefit a charity. Rafael came to Indiana from the Bronx, New York, and
what up?
to attend Franklin College. He graduated with a triple major: journalism, political science, and Spanish.
I cheated on the Spanish.
I was gonna say that.
I cheated on the Spanish. I knew it was Spanish. But those of you who major in English, I don't want to hear from you.
Good point. He's also a proud member of his alma mater's Board of Trustees. His joys are his wife, Beth, who's a kindergarten teacher, and their 2 children. Welcome, Rafael.
It's good to be here, everybody. Hi, everybody. We are on a tight schedule, and I normally don't follow scripts, so I'm going to do my first non-scripted event. And I just want to say, so follow with me, camera 2. We're going to just walk this way. I think it's amazing that the work that these folks do at this table, they're doing some sign languaging today. So I want to tell you something, that today, yo no voy a hablar en español, solamente. So I always mess with the folks that do sign language. I hope they speak Spanish, but, usted habla español perfecto. Anyway, so table 6, hello. And then I found the cutest young ladies at table 35. They're having their desserts right now. Now, they could care less what I'm talking about, but I don't even know who they are. But ma'am, if those are your daughters or whomever they belong to, ma'am, at table 35, they're awesomely cute. So I hope they enjoy the desserts. Now, back to the program. So my home almost flooded yesterday because of the non-ending rain we had. And so my biggest fear was not to be here with you today. It was my biggest fear only because after reading, I received this packet of information from Brandon. And Brandon, thank you for allowing me to be here. Wow. How do I even measure? The young people we'll meet today, the young people that we'll congratulate today are fantastic human beings. So I'm just blessed to be in your company. And as someone who gets to do many of these events, it's always just good on a Friday to be refreshed. I think when you hear these stories, everyone in this room will return to their cubicle, their office space, their spouse, their friend, as a better person, because we're gonna meet some 20 amazing young people. And it is just a blessing to be in your company. Let us begin. Amani Gates. Academic success. Yes, Amani Gates. We encourage applauding. That's a good thing. Academic success has been difficult for Amani Gates. The detrimental effects on her memory retention from 29 rounds of chemotherapy to treat pediatric bone cancer in middle school left her frustrated with her challenges in school. Diagnosed at age 13, her 8th and 9th grade years were filled with treatments, hospital visits, surgeries. So Amani wrote, "I know God was showing me something, but I didn't know exactly what it was. Now I know it was definitely a test to see how I can accept life's challenges ahead." Faced with her academic struggles after treatment, her counselor described how Amani took the initiative to seek and find those tools and those strategies, from flashcards to the Quizlet, to improve her work, consistently raising her grades each year in high school. Now in remission, let's applaud that. For 4 years, this enthusiastic, smiling Bishop Chattard Sr. speaks at fundraisers for pediatric cancer and doesn't mind one silver lining in this experience: the opportunity to meet Peyton Manning, she's name dropping, while involved with this foundation, his foundation. After college, she would like to have a career in public relations or as an English teacher. Her activities have included student union, Riley Dance Marathon, student ambassador, working for the Pacers, and serving as a ball girl for the Indiana Fever. She is thankful for the support of friends and family. From Bishop Chattard High School, ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate Miss Amani Gates.
He's really good. Okay. From the age of 6 years old, Sarah Lamb has had to forego childhood and become an adult. Her parents were arrested for drugs, and she was sent to live with a grandmother who mistreated her and her siblings. Eventually, her aunt stepped in, and Sarah could try to begin to live a normal life. When she first entered high school, the stresses from what she experienced led her down a spiral of depression and self-harm. While her time in high school has been a roller coaster of ups and downs, she has found herself in the service she offers to others. At Brebeuf Jesuit, Sarah is involved in the Maker Club, has captained the bowling team, and contributes to the campus ministry while working part-time jobs like a position in Brebeuf's IT department. Her time on a mission trip to El Salvador opened her eyes to the needs of others around the world, especially places without proper access to medical care. Sarah hopes to study pre-med or public health with a minor in Spanish at the University of Dayton and would like to work as a forensic pathologist or doctor. Her school counselor commented that Sarah is a self-starter with a passion to live life to the fullest in whatever activity she chooses to try. I present to you Sarah Lamb.
Danielle Jackson was removed from her mother at the age of 3 as both parents suffered from drug addiction, which ultimately led to her father's incarceration and then death. Her next 6 years brought more instability, moving from house to house, constantly changing schools, and suffering abuse at the hands of a family relative. She now lives with her maternal aunt since the age of 9. Because of the influence of her grandmother, Danielle is very involved with her church as a youth group leader and a dance group captain. She told us in her own words, "I feel God is directly speaking to me at church." Despite all of the turmoil that she has faced, she ranks in the top 2% of her senior class at Pike High School. And participates in the National Honor Society and the Junior ROTC. A couple of notes about Danielle. She studies Latin, recognized as a member of the National Latin Honor Society, and she's also, ladies and gentlemen, as we get into the warmer season, she's an experienced caddy. Danielle, I think table number 16 will hire you, so $20 an hour, sir, bare minimum. I accepted it. That was not scripted. But table 6, hey, listen, if you have she'll take extra scholarship money. Right, Danielle, we good? We good, okay. Accepted into the Caddy Academy. She has worked at Exmoor Country Club near Chicago each of the last 3 summers. She has seen the effect of mental illness in her own family and hopes to become a psychologist or a psychiatrist after college. Ladies and gentlemen, from Pike High School, Danielle Jackson.
Caitlin Krell's world history teacher wrote in her recommendation letter that if I had to sum up Caitlin in one word, the word would be joy. She expresses that joy even as she's experienced a lot more than most of her peers likely have. She was born with a bilateral cleft lip and palate and has undergone several intensive surgeries, starting when she was only 3 months old. Over the years, she's developed a keen sense of herself, one that she readily shares through Smile Train, an organization dedicated to providing surgeries for children born with cleft palates. Along with her work representing Smile Train, Caitlin stays very busy with her activities and academics at Decatur Central High School. She has a lot of natural passion in both the swimming pool and on the golf course. So we have a twosome or something, okay? Where she's a captain of the golf team, okay? She's also found the time to earn her private pilot's license. Caitlin credits the doctors who've worked with her, transforming her life and inspiring a stronger self-image, which guides her interest in plastic surgery as a future career. Caitlin hopes to begin that path at Indiana State University. Caitlin Krell.
By the time she was diagnosed with leukemia at the age of 12, circumstances for Grace Gumino were dire. Coming close to death, there followed 2 years of high-dose chemotherapy, sessions, spinal injections, along with the complications and side effects such as migraines, vascular obstructions in her liver, and struggles with depression and anxiety. Another side effect was severe arthritis in Grace's hip. She has had 1 hip replacement, with the other to occur in the future. Missing the majority of her 7th and 8th grade years at home, she entered Cathedral High School, finally in remission. Round of applause for that, please. But still the subject to the effects of the ordeal. But her high school counselor wrote this: She never uses her health challenges as an excuse not to complete assignments. Grace is a passionate volunteer with the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. As a junior, she was recognized by the society as Student of the Year, the top student fundraiser, and setting a state record of $131,000. She told us that this experience, with its challenges to her leadership, communication, her networking, and public speaking, were simply just transformational for her. So she wrote, I learned how to believe in myself and how to turn my story into something that could help others. This Cathedral senior with, a small GPA, something itty-bitty, 4.2. Is there such a scale? I mean, come on. Amazing. With a 4.2 GPA, would like to become like her mother, a nurse specializing in oncology. It would be a way, in her words, to pay back for all those who have helped me. Ladies and gentlemen, amazing young lady on the stage from Cathedral High School, Grace Gumino.
Marie Villaneda is a hardworking and successful student and tireless advocate who has overcome hardships throughout her life. She was born with a rare genetic condition called LCA that prevents her optic nerve from sending signals between her eyes and brain. While she learned to adapt to changes in schools and peer groups, her home life took a turn for the worse when her home life turned abusive. She struggled to maintain the facade of a happy teenager while she suffered with her internal turmoil. But over time, she let her guards down and let people back into her life, including her guide dog, Bear. Marie is now preparing to graduate from the Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired as either the valedictorian or the salutatorian. Among her many accomplishments in sports, forensics, and academics is her development of a unique system to teach Braille to children on the autism spectrum that use tennis balls and a muffin pan. Marie is considering Ball State University or Indiana University to study abnormal psychology with licensure in applied behavioral analysis therapy with a goal of helping reform the underdeveloped ABA programs for children on the autism spectrum in Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, Marie Villaneda.
Our next student is a valedictorian at Beech Grove High School. But Julia Real's life has been very complicated. Both parents struggled with drug and alcohol addiction, resulting effects on home life, the inability to keep bills paid, and there was some jail time. Julia and her two triplet siblings bounced between mom and dad, relatives, family, friends, and foster care. Sometimes the triplets were together, other times they were not. Ultimately, overdoses claimed the life of her first mother and then her father. After her sophomore year, a generous family in Beech Grove took her and her brother into their home with greater stability. Now, Julia enjoys her participation in Future Farmers of America, which her 8th grade teacher recommended to her. So you have a blue jacket? Yeah. All right. I've always wanted a blue jacket. Let's talk. She loves French culture and is a member of the school French club and the French Honor Society. She appreciates the support of her grandfather and her teachers who have been inspirational role models. She told us, "School allowed me to focus on something other than the chaos in my personal life." Julia also volunteers at Gleaners in appreciation for those times when their backsacks were food for the weekend. Her plan to follow a pre-medicine path in college, studying chemistry, and eventually to become an orthopedic surgeon. What an honor today to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, from Beech Grove High School, Julia Real.
When Hope Trentadue first reached the U.S. at 5 years old, she had a lot to learn. She'd been born with thick cataracts in both eyes that led to her becoming legally blind. Coupled with the need to learn a new language, culture, and customs, Hope had to work hard to adapt. Without the ability to see people's faces and emotions, she had to create her own system to judge a room and navigate her world. But she has adapted and has found a lot of success at Heritage Christian High School in academics, cheerleading, and community involvement. Her guide dog, Traveler, accompanies her as she completes her high school journey. Hope plans to study social work and education at Taylor University and would like to work in the social work field. Her school's director of guidance wrote that, "I have incredible respect for this young lady who possesses not only great intellect, character, and maturity, but also has a heart for God and a desire to serve others with her gifts." Ladies and gentlemen, Hope Trentadue.
Thank you. Hope, thank you. The service animal is in charge, so. Han pasado más de 17 meses que José López comenzó una vida nueva dejando su país natal de Venezuela. Just 17 months ago, José López left behind everything he had known and started a new life over 2,000 miles away. His family had openly opposed the Venezuelan government and became subject to increasingly threatening intimidation and harassment. In 2017, with no time to say goodbye and their belongings stuffed in 3 suitcases, 3, his father, his mother, and Jose fled Venezuela for political asylum in the United States. Back home, his father was a farmer and helped with a family-owned hotel. Today, his parents work in a warehouse, and his father plans to obtain a CDL so they can earn more money as a commercial truck driver. They believe that Jose's brother back home is safe from authorities outside of the city, as that country currently is in an upheaval. For Jose, it was a new culture, language, and a lifestyle. He credits the students and teachers at Cardinal Ritter with helping with the adjustment with friendliness and support. You know, Hoosier hospitality goes a long way. A talented artist and photographer, his work has been selected for competition already. He's a member of the speech team and works during both the school year and the summer. This 3.8 GPA student has been admitted to Loyola University in Chicago, where he hopes to major in biology in preparation for a career in medicine. Con mucho gusto y con mucho orgullo en este día, with great pleasure and honor, please congratulate from Cardinal Ritter High School, Jose Lopez.
Jordan Schlittenhofer brings great positive energy to her room, a power she cultivated through life. Born with achondroplasia, she's endured many surgeries to relieve many health issues related to her diagnosis. Life at home between surgeries was also difficult, with poverty always a factor in everything her family did. While her much older sister worked jobs to help care for the family, Jordan went to school and gave back to her community through tutoring. Despite the many challenges she's faced, she stayed positive and bright, finding acceptance with her peers. Today, Jordan stays busy at Cecina High School, spending her time between classes with cheerleading, band, and choir. She also gets outdoors to hunt, fish, and take photographs. Jordan hopes to study radiology at IUPUI and would like to work with children in pediatric therapy, an interest that comes from her tutoring experiences. Her academic advisor noted, Jordan's character, personality, and dedication will serve her well in her future endeavors. Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan.
Life turned upside down when her home was demolished in 2012 in the Richmond Hill explosion on the south side of Indianapolis. Her mother suffered health effects directly attributable to the explosion on top of other health issues. Her father, working up to 3 jobs, trying to recover financially. Quite a lot at the moment for an 11-year-old Haley Cox. Displaced for 9 months, they lived first in their grandparents' basement, then in an apartment. And even after returning to a rebuilt home, as you can imagine, belongings, they were gone, as was her beloved dog. Haley also has a medical condition increasing her risk of developing diabetes. She's involved in a variety of service activities at Southport High School. and is a devoted supporter of Riley Hospital, as a leader in the school dance marathon, and a volunteer with the Ronald McDonald House. Both Haley and her brother were Riley patients when young. Enrolled in Southport's honors program, she takes a number of honors and dual credit and advanced placement courses. She works over 30 hours per week and was recently promoted to a manager at her retail job. Her goal, to study law and society at Purdue University, and she would love to work in a missing persons unit in law enforcement. Ladies and gentlemen, boiler up, Haley Cox.
Blake Quiroga has seen more than many of us can imagine. He's experienced a family torn apart by drug abuse, which sent him bouncing between the homes of his parents, aunts, and DCS foster parents. Emotional and physical abuse became normalized, so much so that he and his sister had to run away before he could get into a good home. His current guardians are supportive of him and have created a stable home to help him succeed. At Lawrence North High School, Blake has involved himself in a lot of different aspects of student life, from honor societies and the president of the school's Young Democrats Club to theater and show choir. Recently, he volunteered with Poonam Gill's state representative campaign, where he learned a great deal about the political system. While he's still deciding between schools like Loyola University Chicago and several in California, Blake does plan to study political science and social work. He has aspirations of becoming a defense attorney. Despite the problematic relationship, Blake has forgiven his parents, an act that moved his guidance counselor, saying she was knocked down with such an enormous display of understanding, wisdom, peace, and graciousness. Ladies and gentlemen, Blake Quiroga.
The second oldest of 9 children, Anika Webster grew up impoverished and sometimes homeless, even living in a van for a time. Even worse, she endured severe physical and abuse from her mother's husband. She continues to recover from the trauma of those events to this day. In the 8th grade, she was removed from her mother and placed in the care of her aunt. Her mother is deaf, and Anika is hard of hearing from a congenital condition in which her hearing will get worse over time. Throughout high school, she has worked through her past in therapy and has emerged realizing that her past does not determine her future. She has proudly improved her grades at the Indiana School for the Deaf and serves as class president, yearbook editor, and prom committee chairman. Athletics include varsity softball and cheerleading. She currently lives on campus during the week and with a supportive coach on the weekends. She will attend Gallaudet University in the fall and plans to study English. You're going to do good in English. I was good in Spanish, yeah. Yeah. You good with that? I mean, yeah, we're good. And don't worry about that, because you know English and I know Spanish, right? We're good, okay. Just want to make sure you knew that it was okay. It's okay. Are we good? We're good, okay. Not on the script. I had to follow, the translator's like, what is he doing? Okay, back. I'm waiting for you. We good? Okay, oh, good, okay. When asked what advice she would give another person facing her circumstances, she replied, ask for help earlier. Don't try to do it on your own. Others have gone through abusive situations like you. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Indiana School for the Deaf, a proud young lady, and all the best to you at Gallaudet. Congratulations to Anika Webster.
Sometimes I feel like he should be doing all of these. Jordan Sloan has experienced something that many of us might not have: homelessness. Her family fought hard and sometimes failed to keep a roof over their heads, resorting at times to sleeping in their car. A car accident led to her father's passing, and while her mother struggled to cope, she and her siblings had to go to work to pay the bills. Her mother began abusing drugs, and her mood swings made a hard situation even tougher. Jordan's older brother got himself established, and she joined him as she finishes her time at Perry Meridian High School. In school, she's uncovered her love of writing and contributes to her school newspaper. She leads the Creative Writing Club. She also keeps busy hours at a local pizza shop, earning money to support her family. Jordan hopes to study secondary education, English, and journalism at Indiana University, and would like to work as a high school English teacher. Her teacher commented on the qualities she's displayed every day. She's mature behind her years, witty, academically driven, focused, and well-rounded. Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Sloan.
Stephanie Hutchinson suffers from a chronic condition that began 4 years ago as a freshman with these sudden fainting spells, vomiting, and headaches. Diagnosed at Riley Hospital with a ghost brain tumor, in which the symptoms of a tumor manifest, but further investigation just finds no tumor. You would never know it when you're with this young lady coming on stage, but she has continuous migraines that never go away, only fluctuating in intensity. Stephanie has endured countless surgeries, procedures, tests, missing a lot from the classroom. So she has a motto. She has her own motto. Why not? Who knew you could have your own motto? Her motto is, I refuse to be reduced. I refuse to be reduced. And with that motto, she resolved not to let her condition hold her back at school. As her counselor wrote, even though she's in chronic pain, I have never seen her lose her cheerful attitude. She's a member of the advanced show choir at Franklin Central High School. She's volunteered for the Riley Dance Marathon all 4 years. She captains the Sparkle Cheer Squad. Is that like a, what is that? Is that? It's a cheer squad with members and we. Okay, but do we have pom-poms? We have pom-poms. Awesome. So she captains the Sparkle Cheer Squad, which includes students, as she just mentioned, with disabilities, as well as participates in the cadet teaching program, helping in a special needs classroom. She is a junior board member for Colby Kate Charities, which serves teens with chronic illnesses. Stephanie will enroll at the University of Indianapolis next fall, where she plans to prepare for medical school and a career as a neurologist. She's taking patients. Sign up. From Franklin Central High School, please congratulate Stephanie Hutchinson.
Imagine a 7-year-old walking for 10 days straight to escape persecution. That was reality for William Boy, who escaped Myanmar to live in Malaysia, his family struggling to make ends meet as they sought to immigrate to America. When they finally made it to the US, William had to learn a new language, culture, and do his best to adapt as he started school. His father had stayed behind in Myanmar with plans to join the family later, but tragedy struck during William's sophomore year when he learned his father had passed away. His mother encouraged him to continue getting involved in his education, and he's dedicated himself to success at Roncalli High School. William is a gifted soccer player, competing at the varsity levels all 4 years in high school and helping lead the team to a sectional title. He also volunteers at several local organizations and holds down jobs as well. He's still deciding between Marion or UPI for college, but he plans to study nursing or aviation with goals to become a combat medic to thank the country that he now calls home. His high school counselor commented that he has worked hard toward his dream because he believes that getting an education is the greatest gift a person can receive. Ladies and gentlemen, William Boy.
Tatum Parker is a member of the school's show choir, which claimed top state honors last year, as well as the National Grand Champions at the Grand Ole Opry. So this North Central senior, as you will imagine, is comfortable on stage. We may give her the mic. We'll see. She played the leading role in last fall's school musical. What was that, Tatum? Bring it on. All right. Bring it on. But Tatum has had recurrent bouts with cancer. First, a tumor in her right femur at age 6, which required removal of 4 inches of her leg. Then, 2 years later, it returned to her right lung. After many rounds of chemo and radiation therapy, in 2009, that was a good year, she rang the cancer survivor bell at Riley. And has been in remission since, despite needing a hip replacement in 9th grade as a result of an earlier leg surgery. Her many extracurricular activities, besides the performing arts, include being the class vice president, the school newspaper and website, and the freshman orientation leader. But her great passion is her support for other pediatric cancer patients, inspired and thankful for a backpack full of gifts that she received as a patient. Why not? She launched her own initiative, now known as the Tatum Parker Project, that raises funds to give a backpack filled with games, toys, activities to every child diagnosed with cancer in Indiana, as well as raise other funds for research. That deserves a round of applause, please. In the top 10 of her senior class academically, she would like to someday work as a pediatric oncology nurse. From North Central High School, congratulations to Miss Tatum Parker.
From an early age, Riley Walker has experienced challenges in his life. He's endured surgery after surgery since he was a toddler to help alleviate the issues that come with clubfoot and a condition with his fibula that prevented proper leg growth. Despite numerous surgeries, Riley still had to have his affected leg amputated before starting 5th grade. His new prosthetic leg has a large learning curve, and he says that he's still never really gotten used to it. Regardless, Riley discovered tips and tricks about his leg and adapted to it, allowing him to participate in many activities at Speedway High School. He's a natural athlete, serving as a captain on both the football and wrestling teams. Riley also volunteers for organizations across his community, and in his spare time, sets national records for his age group in weightlifting. Riley hopes to attend Purdue University to study biomedical engineering to prepare for a career building prosthetic limbs and devices. His guidance counselor noted, "I am inspired watching him persevere daily through conditions that would make others want to quit." Ladies and gentlemen, Riley Walker.
Didn't you, I know this is not the interviewing portion, but didn't you set a record for weightlifting or something?
The national deadlift record.
And just out of curiosity, what did you just kind of naturally deadlift? I'm just wondering, like a pound, 2 pounds? Just throw me a number.
455 pounds.
Yeah. So pivot. Don't mess with him. That's all I'm going to say. Congratulations, sir. Don't mess with him. My bodyguard, by the way, everyone. This is my new bodyguard. Well worth it. Well worth it. Mariah Milkey, diagnosed at age 8 with juvenile idiopathic arthritis. JIA symptoms impacted her life more dramatically when she reached adolescence, with painful episodes more frequent and severe. Over the years, there have been countless times when her swollen knee is so serious, it renders her practically immobile until it can be drained for relief. In October, after experiencing mysterious abdominal pain, Mariah learned that she had another autoimmune disease known as Crohn's disease. Coping with the mental and the emotional stresses of this roller coaster struggle has been difficult, as you could imagine. Despite these obstacles and the time she is forced to miss from school, Mariah has left her mark at Lutheran High School. She plays on the basketball and the volleyball teams, practicing and playing when her condition allows. She is the student council treasurer, has participated in mission trips, building stairs and ramps for those in need, and enjoys being part of youth group activities in her church. In 2015, she was honored as the face of the race at an event raising funds and awareness for arthritis. Mariah's eyes were open to see how many children and teens were going through the same thing as she. So she wrote, "While arthritis slows me down, I am not going to let it stop me from accomplishing what I want in life." She aspires to be an elementary school teacher, and those kids will be lucky to have her in that classroom of the future. Today we congratulate from Lutheran High School, Mariah Milkey.
Our final student to be recognized in the Circle of Valor is Christian Williams. Christian Williams has needed to become an adult at an early age. Her cerebral palsy has her using a wheelchair to accomplish most tasks in the day. From 8th grade onward, she's had to learn how to do these tasks independently, waking up her siblings, getting dressed, and seeing herself to school. An electric wheel chip her dad found at a yard sale gave her a new form of independence, but an additional surgery in her sophomore year set back a lot of her progress. She's persevered, and with encouragement and help from her family, she has a new sense of self and a determination to take control of her future. She's worked hard at Lawrence Central High School to make good grades and prepare herself for college. She volunteers to help the homeless and tutors young children at the Boys and Girls Club. While Christian is still deciding her college and field of study, she has a creative element to her personality that she wants to explore further. She sees a future as an art or music therapist for children, while also considering publishing a book and her rap lyrics. One of her teachers commented that Christian has a strong work ethic and determination to do her best and get the task done. Christian Williams. Okay, congratulations to all of you, and thank you for the inspiration that you have given us. This year, the Kiwanis Foundation of Indianapolis has again provided a grant in the amount of $41,000 to award scholarships to 4 of these students. Each is payable in annual installments equal to 1/4 of the total scholarship. The first place scholarship is in the amount of $16,000, payable at $4,000 a year. The total amount of the second, third, and fourth place scholarships are $12,000, $8,000, and $5,000 respectively. In addition, each of our other students being recognized today will receive a $250 award. The $250 awards will be available for you to pick up at the end of the program. You know, we often wish that we could give more. We've distributed more than $1 million in financial assistance through the Abe Lincoln Scholars Program. After each of our recipients has been introduced, please come forward and you'll be presented with a plaque and be interviewed by Raphael. That's a highlight. Okay. Past club president and past Abe Lincoln chairman, Steve Willem, will introduce the recipient of our fourth place $5,000 scholarship.
Thank you, Wendy. This young man told us that he always wanted to serve in the military. As you learn more, I think you'll see how this kind of makes sense. That door in particular may be closed, but he, with his grit and determination, has already opened many others, and we are sure that he will continue to storm through many more doors in the future. Riley Walker became an amputee over 7 years ago. Born with club feet and fibular hemimelia, with these conditions, both feet will grow inward, and the fibular bone in his calf is severely underdeveloped, with one leg being shorter than the other. Over the years, successive surgeries, adaptive equipment, and summers spent with specialists in Baltimore were temporarily successful in enabling Riley to get on with life and to do some ordinary things like play recreational sports. But at age 11, he and his parents were advised that nothing more could be done, and the only alternative for long-term mobility was to amputate the left leg and learn to walk on a prosthesis. He began the long and difficult effort of adapting and relearning to walk. He wrote in his essay, "I realized my life would never be the same. I would have to accept that there were things I simply could not do, or even that some people would never look at me the same way. The truth is, I have had all of these realizations, but none of these are the most important. All of those realizations are negative, and that is not the person I am." At Speedway High School, he went back out for the football team his senior year because it was so important to him to suit up alongside his younger brother. A member of the Sparkplugs wrestling team all 4 years, he received the team's Mental Attitude Award twice and captained the team his junior and senior years. More about the wrestling in a minute. An honor roll student throughout high school, Riley carries a 3.9 grade point average and performs community service with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes and other organizations. He visits his mother's elementary school classroom and inspires the kids with his story and his determination to live his life in victory rather than defeat. He plans to study biomedical engineering in college and would like to work on advanced smart prosthetics that truly integrate with the tissues and the cells that surround it. Back to the wrestling. If you follow the local sports pages, you might already be familiar with this young man. Riley Walker is a fierce and fearless competitor. When he first went out for wrestling back in freshman year, he really wasn't all that good. But Riley found his own alternative, grueling workout regimen to grind through in lieu of running. As you've already heard, his hobby is powerlifting. He maximized his upper body strength into an advantage. You've also heard him say that he set the national record at 455 pounds. The rumor is that in practice he's hit 480, but we'll let him confirm that. Well, Riley just ended this year's regular season with a 16-8 record for his varsity wrestling team. We believe that this is just the beginning. Please help me recognize the recipient of our $5,000 Abe Lincoln Scholarship from Speedway High School, Riley Walker.
So let's get, so was it really 480? You were just holding off? I mean,
It's not official, but it's close. Yeah.
so when you say kind of not official, is that like 475 and you almost 478, or what does not official mean?
Means it wasn't at an actual competition, but I'm not sure where 480 came from, but it's that's the goal. Hopefully soon.
Well, listen, it sounds good, whatever it is. That 440, is it 450? What was it? 455? I mean, I would do 460 if I was, no, I'm kidding. So for you, after living this and being, and what would you say to other people who may set limitations? Because what I've, as we read through these today, what I found in all of you, there was no boundary to possibility. Like, you didn't just sit at home and say, I'll just watch Netflix and just deal with it, right? There was a grit. So how do you bring that out in other people so that they can see that maybe their circumstances may be tough, but are bearable?
I just tell everybody who asks me similar questions to that you have to make a conscious decision every day to be the best person you can for the people around you and for yourself. And I think that's where it comes into, you find that grit inside of yourself, and if you remind yourself of that every day, it makes it easier and more bearable.
Ladies and gentlemen, Riley Walker.
Chick Bourne, an attorney and a member of our club board, will introduce the recipient of our third place $8,000 scholarship.
Well, now that I'm here, let's begin with a quiz, or maybe two, or even three. Quiz number one, Homer. Aldous Huxley wrote Brave New World. David Patterson, governor of New York. Andrea Bocelli, tenor. Common features? More about them later. Our scholar began life's journey west of Indiana. But like Hoosier humorist Herb Schreiner, she hurried here as soon as she heard of it. Now, I have to give up part of our third place runner-up's identity to tell her story. She came to Indiana to go to school. All right, let's move on to quiz number two. George Shearing, Art Tatum. Wow, not a single spark of recognition. Well, let's try quiz number three, see if you guys can get a little better. How about Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, Helen Keller, or Louis Braille? Well, now I bet you're on board. These blind personalities overcame what the rest of us term their handicaps by hard work, exercise of intestinal fortitude, good old-fashioned guts, and single-mindedness. Our student lost her vision to Leber's congenital amaurosis, LCA. How has our candidate done with these three measures of character, hard work, and single-mindedness? Hard work by this young woman has been evident. High school, effectively graduated in 3 years. Has learned her English well, it was her native language. And has learned to read and speak German, French, and she studies Japanese at an advanced level. By her own admission, she's working extra hard on Japanese vocabulary. She admits she speaks Japanese much better than she writes it. Last March, speaking of language skills, our candidate was the North Central High School Language Arts Student of the Month. But she's interested in other subjects as well. Try education for starters. At her school, Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired, she already works as a Braille consultant based in her school and as a preschool teaching assistant. So for one kindergartner who just could not get the idea of Braille, this child had cerebral palsy and was blind. As has been mentioned, imagine using tennis balls and muffin tins as a substitute for Braille letters and numbers. Well, it is an effective educational method, one she keeps in the background and available as time goes on. It's still used when needed. Her additional academic accomplishments are impressive. On the high honor roll every semester. Participated on the forensics team every year. Well, that's debate for those of us who are not quite as well versed. In the summer of 2018, that's last summer, she attended the National Federation for the Blind STEM Engineering Quotient Program in Baltimore. Nationally, that program is limited to 30 blind or visually impaired students. Well, so much for hard work. It got her the basis for an educational springboard to either Ball State or IU for education as a special needs therapist. Indeed, her interest and experience may take her to Europe, as has been mentioned, where she hopes to improve the ABA autism interest there. And now we get to the capstone feature of our subject, and it's not even her. It's a canine quadruped, a naturalized Canadian companion who was chosen by our honoree. In the United States, the blind cannot obtain dog guides until they're at least 18. But after research, our candidate learned that Canada has provision for dog guides at age 11. It's the Myra Foundation, a Quebec-based provider of dog guides for visually impaired. Bear, you've heard his name now 3 times, and our honorees met when our student was 14. According to teacher Lisa Starfield, Marie has maturity, strength, and independence far beyond what most sighted high school seniors have. I suspect Bear helps a lot, too. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating 2019's third place, Abe Lincoln Scholar Marie Villaneda.
Checking it out, reading the Braille.
He's checking me out.
Sorry, I didn't see it.
It's okay. So you speak every language in the Western Hemisphere. Is there one that you enjoy more of? And I'd like to hear the answer in the language of choice. And then let us know which language you're talking in the event that we don't know what we're talking about.
はい、日本語が好きです。Yes, I enjoy Japanese.
Okay, I figured that wasn't Spanish. I was like, okay, all right. I'm a little bit. Do you speak Spanish? I mean, you left out 18 countries to the south, which I'm mad at you about that, but I'm okay.
My dad speaks Spanish, but I'm not fluent now.
Fair enough. What is your message to young folks who may, as I was asking our previous recipient, what is your message to other folks that may feel that they can't? That words like I can't, it's not possible, it's not for me, oh, that's scary, I'm fearful. How does that look like to you, and what is your message to them?
Honestly, I would just say, just go for it. I mean, if it's not for you, then you can always find a workaround. If you can't go over it or under it or left or right or up and to the side, just bulldoze through it. Yeah, life is pretty much, I mean, it really is 10% what happens and 90% how you react to it. I think we as humans are kind of hardwired to be really adaptable. I mean, we got this far. We started off as little microorganisms, and now we're, Homo sapiens. That's pretty cool. But I mean, I think really, like, y'all like that, huh? But I mean, we are really built to adapt, and so, whether that be reaching out to somebody, there's always people around that are waiting to lift you up, but if they don't know that you're falling, then they can't help. So reach out and find your way through or around whatever's making you struggle.
I enjoyed the microorganism thing. I thought that's people were like, wow, because that makes you sound skinnier when you're a microorganism. I thought
Great to me, so.
And there is my final question. I find that many times it is sighted people that have the hardest time seeing and appreciating what's around them. And so for someone who may not be fully sighted, what are some of the things you wish people would consider insofar as how they treat each other or how they talk to each other, however that may look like to you? Because it seems like to me, based on your already impressive resume, you're going to hit the world big time. You are ready to conquer, whether it's Europe or Asia or wherever you want to go, you're going with the dog. But what do you wish people could see that they currently don't see or choose not to see?
I think people need to be more open about diversity. I mean, a lot of people will talk about the color of people's skin or how they talk, but it's, the only thing that I really see is how people talk, and it's rude to make fun of them for how they talk, so I don't understand what the difference is with sighted people and color, but I mean, I don't know. I really wish that people would be more open to diversity and willing to ask questions if they have them. A lot of people really tiptoe around issues that they don't necessarily need to tiptoe around, and I think that if you just ask questions and you try to learn and you keep an open mind, because you really don't know what somebody's been through unless you ask. And so I think that not assuming and asking questions is really something that people should do more often.
Please congratulate Marie Villaneda. So here's a good lesson. So lesson number 1, never touch the surface animal, right? Yep. So I knew that. But then tell me though, because often I find like when I'm walking in downtown Indianapolis and I see someone just walking who is blind or visually impaired, how do we approach you so we don't offend you? Like right now I want to help you and get you to the right step so you don't fall off the stage and get hurt. So what is the appropriate way to, do I tap you on the shoulder? Do I say, hey, what up, chica? I mean, what do I do so that I know the right way? So help me out. Here's a good guide.
Okay. So something that's really important is asking questions. So not everybody likes to be touched. So I actually happen to be one of those people. I don't like to be touched, and that's just...
I am on the other side of the room.
You're right there.
I'm a microorganism. How do I guide you to the steps without saying this way? Because I can't touch the dog and I can't touch you.
Well, and maybe...
Help me.
Like, I mean, if you... It depends on the person, really. You have to ask. So you did ask me. You said, how can I help you? Which is good. I can actually tell my dog to left and find the stairs and do it on my own.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so it's time to get off my stage. So you need to go, oh, that's okay.
That's what my dog
That's that, yeah, right. And he has bigger teeth than I. Go left. Please give her a round of applause.
I want to pause and say thanks to Marquis Rental and Staging for audiovisual support and for our program. Today's event is being videotaped and recorded by LaCie Broadcasting's WHMB Channel 40. Each of our students will receive a DVD of today's program. Each student's individual presentation will be available on our club's YouTube channel, and we'll have more information for you on that when it becomes available in a couple of weeks. So special thanks to Marquis and Channel 40. All right. The recipient of our second place $12,000 scholarship will be introduced by Alex Ventekis with Tech Point and a club board member.
Thank you, Wendy. As our second place Abe Lincoln Scholarship recipient is a Latin scholar, it seems appropriate that we turn to an expression born from Latin for describing her. Ex nihilo nihil fit. Out of nothing, nothing is produced. It refers to the need to put in hard work to accomplish something great. That is the story of Danielle Jackson. A 4.0 GPA National Honor Society scholar, a Pike High School Star Student of the Month, the first female from Indiana to be accepted to the Western Golf Association Caddy Academy in Illinois. JROTC, Church Youth Group, a founder of her own nonprofit organization. She's a part of her community, weaving her own threads into the fabric of society. She's giving back and making a difference. Her story, however, includes some darker chapters. They cover things that most children can never imagine. From an early age, Danielle has experienced some of the harshest lessons that life can teach us. At a time when many young children have play dates or spend a lazy morning watching cartoons, she was removed from her parents' home after witnessing physical abuse and seeing her parents battle a drug addiction. She was placed with another family member, but found no peace there either. She experienced some of the cruelest acts that a family member can do to another before she was moved again. While neither her living situation nor her family has ever reached a true sense of stability, Danielle never let that stop her. In middle school, she recognized the importance of education. She discovered where her future rested, in college, an accomplishment that she'd be the first in her family to achieve. And she dedicated herself toward that goal. She knew that she could and that she would put in the hard work to accomplish something great. Throughout high school, she's demonstrated that dedication, and she put in the work. Her grade point average climbed steadily year by year, and she's reached the top 2% of the students in her class. She served her community, and she put in the many hours. When her grandmother first brought her to church, Danielle felt God speak to her. Since that first moment, she's given herself to youth groups and dance troupes and to being a part of her religious community. Whether she's caddying on the golf course, helping children at a daycare, or completing her schoolwork, Danielle gives her full self to everything that she sets out to do. Everywhere she goes, she serves. The world has noticed, and opportunities are opening up to her. Her goal is within her grasp. She's applied to several universities, and she'll soon have her pick of which to attend. Any of them will be fortunate to have her. While Danielle's experiences might have been too much for some, she's unearthed strength from them. Being able to overcome a tragic childhood has been the best part of my success, she wrote. I was able to overcome a dangerous situation and strive in my teen years. From tragedy and pain, she drew forth hope. And she's held on to hope throughout her life, even during her darkest days. It's inspired her to change the world in whatever way she can. Psychiatry is the path she has selected. She's recognized the symptoms of mental illnesses within her family and has experienced the consequences firsthand. She knows others out there need her help. Others around her see the gifts she's ready to bring to the world. Danielle has always been determined to not let her circumstances define her, her guidance counselor wrote in her recommendation letter. All her teachers describe Danielle as diligent, conscientious, trustworthy, intelligent, and hardworking. Her counselor also wrote that she stands in awe of Danielle's emotional intelligence as well as her resilience, perseverance, and spirit. She is easily one of the most impressive young ladies I have been around in my 41 years as an educator. Our committee saw the same impressiveness, and Danielle left us in awe at how she embraced an ethic of hard work and overcame her hardships to produce incredible achievements. She embodies the qualities that would make this scholarship's namesake proud. As we opened with Latin for our description of Danielle, it seems fitting then that as we celebrate Danielle and wish her well in her future, we should finish with another Latin phrase. Carpe diem, seize the day. Please join me in congratulating Danielle Jackson.
So you're a caddy. Half the room wants to know, you have any tips for those that are heading out to play golf sometime in July? Because in Indiana weather, it's going to snow for the next 18 months. No, but any advice for a good golf game?
Pick days where it's nice outside and not where it's windy, because that's when everybody comes outside and you're just like, it's a beautiful day and it's like a dry day, like no caddies are going out. And then when it's like 5 degrees and it's super windy, everybody's there and you're like, oh, great.
Now, is there a way to tip a caddy? I mean, so what is the appropriate way to tip? Because, these folks want to tip you, right? So what is your philosophy on tipping? How does that look for you?
It depends. Like, tell a story. I was on a certain loop, and I had to clean out the grooves of the club, and he didn't give me a tip at all. And then,
boo. Did you get a name? We'll talk later. All right.
And then I had a lady who only did 5 holes, and she tipped me like $40. So I feel like as much work as I give you, you should at least give something back. So yeah.
Thank you on that. On a serious issue like mental health and mental health issues, so often misunderstood because we don't know what cross someone is carrying. You've seen that in your life. So how do we address that issue from your perspective? Because so often we don't know what to say. We don't know that we can say anything, right? And like at the workplace, I can never ask someone, excuse me, are you having an episode? So, or even in a room. I don't know people, table 5 or 19 or 11, what they're dealing with. So how do we deal with this? How do we address this in a way that's humane and compassionate?
Questions. You ask questions, and I feel sometimes people just don't want to talk, like at the moment. So I feel like you also have to give people time to adjust to their situation, because some people are just dealing with it themselves in their particular moment. So questions and time, because time tells, Like if you say, how are you doing? And the person It's like, I don't want to talk about it. Just sometimes you got to brush it off and not let them talk about it. But then you can come back and ask again and maybe you want to talk about it in that particular moment. That's what I learned, and that's kind of how I am, is to just wait and give me time.
And final question, as your name was said and you had a long walk, you were overcome with tears. So what does this mean to you to be able to receive this amazing recognition, but for your life as well? Because you had a long walk, and I even got you a tissue just in case. So Brandon got it for you. So, but if you need it, it's there. If you don't, that's fine. But what does this mean to you?
Well, someone always told me, don't cry to quit. You know, you already hurt, and you might as well get a reward from it. So it's like, I've cried so much, and I didn't give up. And look, I got a reward from it. So, you know.
Ladies and gentlemen, Danielle Jackson.
It is my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Carol Orbison, Superior Court Judge. Carol will introduce the recipient of the first place $16,000 Kiwanis Abe Lincoln Scholarship.
I grew up believing that college would never be an option for me. It was a pot of gold at the end of a 13-year-long rainbow that I never thought I'd get to the end of. However, upon entering my senior year in high school, the help of friends, teachers, counselors, and outside support systems opened my eyes to potential I never thought that I had. And so began this student's essay. You would never dream, when listening to her speak, seeing the sparkle and enthusiasm in her eyes, or reading about her accomplishments and endeavors in every aspect of her young life, that she had ever had to worry about anything other than what most of us as teenagers have had to deal with. She was in kindergarten when the family lost their home to foreclosure, and she and her parents, older brother and older sister, were forced to live out of their car. The family sometimes went for days with little to eat, using old sweatshirts as blankets in the family car in order to keep warm during the cold months. And then finally, in early February 2008, her mother and dad found an apartment, a home, to rent on the south side of Indianapolis. But on February 16, her parents were in an automobile accident. Her father was killed, and her mother lapsed into a shell of her former self and turned to drugs for solace from her grief. During that time, her mother would disappear for days, sometimes weeks on end, leaving the three children to fend for themselves. Eventually, she would return home, and for extended periods of time would become her old self again. In fact, throughout middle school, our student enjoyed happier times and remembers her mother as a strong, loving parent with whom she shared makeshift blankets in the car during the times they were homeless. But in the fall of our student's freshman year in high school, her mother relapsed on prescription drugs. Her mother's new boyfriend moved in with the family, bringing with him abuse, anxiety, and financial instability. And then one day, during our student's sophomore year in high school, her mother simply walked out with her boyfriend and did not return. Bills were left unpaid, including the rent, and soon there was no electricity, no heat, no water, no functioning toilet, No phone service, essential these days to a student's ability to access and complete assignments at school. Overnight, this 15-year-old grew up. She sought employment and found a job, working more than 30 hours a week. But her small paycheck was insufficient to cover household expenses. And in the March of that sophomore year, an eviction notice was posted on the front door, and she and her brother and sister were once again without a home. During this period of time, while worrying where she would get her next meal and a warm shower, she was trying to maintain her grades in academic honors courses. She would take her toiletries to school in a plastic bag so that she could brush her teeth and clean up in the student restroom before going to class. She would stay with the families of different friends until eventually her older brother was able to find an apartment that the three of them could afford. She says in her essay that the idea of going to college was insane. People like her didn't go to college. She writes, "I just wanted to be a normal teenager, going to a normal high school, living a normal family life. I wanted it so badly." She found that she loved to write. She joined the Creative Writing Club that publishes a literary magazine at the end of each school year. Today, she is its president. She is a feature writer and photographer for the school newspaper. She is a leader in Link Crew, a program designed to guide new students and whose members act as mentors for incoming freshmen. And of course, why on earth would any of us question this or be surprised? She still finds the time to work roughly 25 hours a week, all year round at Chicago's Pizza. She has been accepted at IUPUI and Ball State University, where she wants to major in secondary English, journalism, and English. Upon graduation, she plans to become a high school English teacher. Our student concludes her essay saying that she has empathy for the underdog because she knows what it's like to be one. She says that one of the most important things that high school has taught her is the importance of making everyone feel that they have a place. She explains, "I care about people. I care about whether or not the girl next to me in math class ate breakfast. And if she hasn't, I will give her my granola bar. I care about letting the boy that sits at my lunch table know that he will always have a friend in me. I care about waking up every day and being a better person than I was the day before." Who is this young woman? It is my distinct pleasure to present to you the first place $16,000 Kiwanis Abe Lincoln Scholarship recipient from Perry Meridian High School, Jordan Sloan.
That was a walk. So we don't know each other, but we are rivals. Did you know that? Here's why. Because tonight, Perry Meridian High School versus Franklin, 7:30 basketball game. So here's your money. I was gonna keep it. Here you go. How are you? Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Amazing. You and your class of 2019, just amazing. We're going to give you all a round of applause here in a few moments. For you, what does this mean? What does opportunity even mean to you as you move forward in your life?
I think something that like I mentioned in the letter I wrote, is that this never even seemed like an opportunity that I would have. And I never thought that going to college, let alone getting a scholarship, is something that someone like I could do. And it just means, I don't know how to say it, except it means the world to me. Like, I can't articulate it enough that this is something that I will eternally be thankful for. And I am blessed. That's all.
You know, the funny thing is that sometimes, though, you and I are in the business of words, that sometimes just a simple smile and the sparkle of an eye, which is hard to see for folks in table 99,000 back there. But when you talk to someone, when you actually communicate, and you can just see someone's eyes and their retinas and the smile, that's worth $1 million. So we're so excited for you. You want to be a teacher?
Yes.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
Well, listen, I say that because it's a tough job, and it's just a tough job. I mean, you're a teen. You've seen your classmates, right?
Yeah.
So it's just tough to get to that age group. So how do you think, why that? Why is that your passion, to go back into the classroom and give back?
I have to credit a lot of it to, I have two very amazing teachers here with me right now.
Okay, so where are they? What
They're in
table?
the back.
Okay, so what table is that back?
22.
So they're going to come up here. So come up here with me. Come on, teachers. Don't make me come get you. Now, we don't have all day. It's almost Saturday based on this program's length. So if you can do a little two-step. Yeah, come on. Now, this was for the previous person. She didn't want it. She's done crying. So here, this is for you. Stand behind your student. And so you were saying about these amazing educators, right? Well, I know it's not about you, but you're part of it, right? You are the foundation, and so often we must always praise those on whose shoulders we stand. So you were saying?
These two specifically, they are some of the most amazing people I have ever been blessed to have in my life. And going into high school, at the peak of all of the bad, they really made it feel like home when I didn't have a home to go to. And it inspired me and made me realize that I want to do what they did for me to my future students. And I want to reach out and I want to help the students who have gone through the same things that I have gone through. And I want to be their home like these two have been for me. And I tell them all the time, and they know that I love them. That's why they're here with me. But I truly think that the influence they have had on me in my high school career is a huge reason why I am so inspired to be a teacher.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Sloan and her two amazing teachers. Now listen, you are amazing, but I do not want your basketball team to win tonight. So you go back to the South Side and you work on that, okay? Jordan Sloan. Congratulations.
Thank you again for attending and for all that you have done to help support and nurture these students. Riley, Marie, Danielle, Jordan, and all the members of the Circle of Valor, congratulations. We are proud of every one of you, and thanks for the courage to share your stories. That was not a decision you made lightly, and we're honored to have been the people that you shared those stories with. We realize that may not have been easy, and I hope we've recognized each of you with the dignity you deserve. What matters isn't the stories themselves, it's how the stories end.